Whoa! I felt a shock to my head and stumbled, falling over. Right in front of me, there was an empty coffee can rolling around. Did someone throw this can at my head? As I fell, my hard hat also came off.
Get out of the way, old man. Don't spread your bad luck to me. If your bad luck rubs off, I might blow my job interview. Excuse me.
He knocked and entered the interview room, closing the door before turning to face the interviewer. Entering with perfect movements and a face full of confidence, John approached the interviewer.
John Miller, right? Please take a seat.
Standing in front of the interviewer, John started to tremble, gray hair with a bandage on his forehead. The person in front of him was the same man he had looked down upon and thrown a can at earlier, thinking he was just a janitor. Though now dressed in a suit, it was undoubtedly the same face.
Oh, why are you here?
I'm Michael Johnson, a 50-year-old janitor. I'm still cleaning at the main branch of West City Bank. Before the bank opens, I collect trash, clean floors, and wipe down counters and ATM areas. I try to clean the windows as early as possible. The counter area, where personal information and business terminals are located, is cleaned by the bank employees at my request. After cleaning, I usually take a break in the staff lounge. While drinking canned coffee, I listen to the bank employees' troubles, which has become part of my daily routine.
Michael, please listen. The manager has set a tough deposit quota for me.
Yeah, deposit quotas are tough. Bonuses are paid in summer and winter, and significant funds move around at the start of the fiscal year, like retirement payouts. Maybe target those times?
I tried my best, but it ended up as a customer complaint. I feel like quitting. I've lost all my confidence.
It's okay. From what you're telling me, it sounds like an unreasonable demand. Just leave the rest to your superiors. It's great that you handled it without giving in to unfair demands. Younger employees are extremely afraid of making mistakes. I have lived for 50 years, but I think of solutions from the same perspective as these young employees. Actually, this is a very important mission for me. Today, I'm scheduled to clean the office of the bank president. Kyle, excuse me, I need to clean. Pushing a cart loaded with cleaning supplies, I entered the president's office.
Thank you for your help. The employees here always rely on you. Can I talk to you today?
The president of West City Bank, Kyle Johnson, is also 50, like me. He's a man of character who treats young employees with a strict but loving approach. He knows they vent to me and silently approves of it. If the young employees don't get to vent a little, they might break down. By sharing the worries I hear with the president, I help improve the environment within West City Bank. Of course, I keep the employees' concerns confidential from everyone but the president. Oh, really? Can I hear your story too? The president chuckled and scratched his head as I spoke. While I have graying hair, the president keeps his hair neatly dyed black.
Please don't tease me. Actually, I have an interview scheduled soon with a mid-career applicant. I saw his resume, and something about him seems fishy.
It's indeed rare to have a mid-career hire at this time of the year. What makes you think the applicant seems suspicious, Kyle?
His resume says he was an employee at North Star Bank, but I can't figure out why he left at this time.
Right. North Star Bank is growing, and the compensation, including salaries and bonuses, should be good. Now that you mention it, it does seem odd. We fell into deep thought.
There are rumors that don't reach the president's office. If you hear anything, let me know.
After a bit more thinking, the president said that with a smile. Understood. Now, I'll get on with the cleaning. I readjusted my hat and began cleaning the president's office. About a week later, something happened. It was raining that day, so the floor inside the main branch was wet. Because the floor tends to get slippery when wet, I was cleaning it repeatedly. I also placed an absorbent mat at the entrance. As lunch break was almost over, a man arrived at the branch.
Hey, where's the room for the job interview?
He seemed to look down on me in my janitor's outfit, not even bothering with polite language. Despite being indoors, he shook off the droplets from his suit and started to wet the floor around him. A job interview? Let me call a bank clerk for you. Could you please tell me your name?
What? What are you gonna do with my name, you janitor? Just hurry up and call someone.
Perhaps because of his loud voice, a young clerk I knew well came running over. After I explained the situation to the young clerk, he looked momentarily disheartened.
The job interview, right? It will be held in conference room 3 on the second floor starting at 1 p.m. Please use that elevator. It's the room immediately to your left when you get off.
He quickly changed his disheartened expression to a smile and courteously guided the man. But the man in the suit clicked his tongue and walked away.
Damn. Guided by just a subordinate. And I'm an elite from North Star Bank, too.
North Star Bank. Could this man be the one Kyle found suspicious?
Michael, are you okay? Did he do anything unpleasant to you?
The clerk who had guided the man asked me worriedly. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks for coming so quickly. Interacting with the staff here really makes a guy like him seem terribly arrogant.
I can't stand how he looked down on you just because you're a janitor. Just because our jobs are different doesn't mean you're not one of us. I wish he hadn't come.
The young clerk sounded almost like a child throwing a tantrum. I felt happy, as if my son was standing up for me. Thank you. It means a lot to hear you call me a colleague. Now, I must thoroughly clean until the counter service ends. It would be a shame if a customer slipped. I sent the young clerk back to his post and began cleaning the floor diligently. About a week later, while I was cleaning the entrance, a familiar voice reached me.
Hey, old man. Where's the room for the final interview?
It was the man in the suit from the rainy day. He's made it to the final interview. The interview room? I believe it's the large conference room on the 4th floor. I'll call a clerk to make sure there's no mistake. As I turned to go call a clerk, it happened. Whoa. I felt an impact on my head and stumbled, falling down. Right in front of me, there was a hard coffee can rolling around. Did someone throw this can at my head? As I fell, my hard hat also came off.
Get out of the way, old man. If your bad luck rubs off on me, I might fail the interview.
Several clerks from the counter rushed over.
Michael, are you okay?
Please stop being rough.
The clerk stood between me and the man.
Huh. Are you going to lecture me? I'm an elite, and if I get in here, I'll be your boss. Don't mess with me.
This time, the clerks did not smile.
You might become our boss, but please apologize to this man.
He cleans, and we work the front desk. Our jobs are different, but we're still colleagues. He helps keep the place clean so our customers can have a pleasant experience. Is throwing a can at a colleague what you call elite behavior?
The clerks protested one after another. The man seemed overwhelmed by their force.
Damn, he's just a janitor. If you consider janitors your equals, that says a lot about the level of clerks here.
With a parting shot, the man boarded the elevator.
Michael, are you okay? You've got a cut on your forehead.
As I touched my forehead, my hand came away with blood. Ah, that's true. It doesn't hurt much, so I didn't notice it. Besides the cut on my forehead, I didn't feel anything unusual. But the clerks were approaching with desperate expressions.
Michael, let's take care of that in the break room. I'll let my supervisor know and take over the cleaning for you.
Led by the clerks, I decided to rest in the break room. A young clerk wiped my forehead wound and applied a bandage.
Your hair is a beautiful gray, Michael. I never noticed because you always wear your hat.
Come to think of it, I had never taken off my hat in front of the clerks before. I quickly put my hat back on. The clerks were furious about the man from earlier.
I wish he hadn't come here. Elite or whatever he claims to be.
At least I wouldn't want to show that attitude to our customers. I responded with a smile, and the clerk muttered quietly,
Speaking of which, I heard there was a troublesome guy at North Star Bank. It could have been that man just now.
I couldn't help but ask back. There was someone that troublesome at North Star Bank?
Yes, apparently, he had a strong sense of elitism. Rumor has it he was fired for looking down on both customers and clerks.
I see. There was someone like that. It's highly likely he's the one Kyle mentioned. I accidentally spoke out loud. Fortunately, it didn't seem like the young clerk heard me clearly.
Did you say something, Michael?
Oops, that was close. I shouldn't let on that I've been discussing hiring interviews with the president. No, it's nothing. Sorry for holding you up. I'm fine, so please go back to work. The clerk looked at me worriedly.
I'll go back, but you should keep resting. You were hit on the head, even if it was just with a can. The younger clerks will handle the cleaning, so please make sure to rest.
After the clerk who stayed with me returned to his post, I was left alone. It seems I've caused the young clerk quite a bit of worry, but I'll use this time gratefully. After making sure there were no other clerks around, I took out my smartphone. Hello, it's me. About today's final interview. After finishing the call, I headed to the elevator. Meanwhile, the man from earlier, John, was about to face his final interview. He adjusted his suit and took a deep breath before entering the interview room.
Excuse me.
He knocked, entered the interview room, and closed the door before turning to face the interviewer. With perfect movements and a confident expression, John approached the interviewer.
John Miller, I presume. Please have a seat.
As soon as he was addressed by the interviewer, John started trembling. In his view was gray hair and a bandage on the forehead. It was the janitor he had looked down upon and thrown a can at earlier. Though now in a suit, it was unmistakably the same face.
Oh, why are you here?
John broke into a cold sweat and trembled. He was clearly nervous. Hearing the interviewer's introduction, John's face turned even paler.
I'm Kyle Johnson, the president of West City Bank.
Kyle smiled warmly, and John was speechless. He just stood there, pale and sweating, trembling.
So, John, your resume says you were with North Star Bank. I'd like to hear why you left a bank that's doing so well.
John answered in a choked voice.
Oh well. I thought I could better utilize my skills at West City Bank.
The other interviewers were suspicious of John's stammered response.
Recently, there have been rumors of an employee at North Star Bank who was fired due to poor behavior at work. Surely that wouldn't be you, John?
Of course not. That's absolutely not the case.
John averted his eyes and mopped his sweaty brow with a handkerchief as he answered. The president cut to the chase mercilessly.
Today, you looked down on a janitor and called him bad luck, even throwing a can at him. And you also had a condescending attitude towards our young clerks who defended him, didn't you?
John flinched and shrank back. The executives in the room began to murmur.
It seems you are the one who was fired from North Star Bank.
The president clapped his hands sharply. John was even more astonished when he saw me emerge from the back door. Still in my work clothes, I removed my hat as I entered. With gray hair and a bandage on my forehead, I had almost the same face as the president.
He is Michael Johnson. Usually, he looks like this, but he's actually the vice president of West City Bank, and as you can see, he's my twin brother.
After saying this, the president removed his wig, which had made him appear to have gray hair, along with a bandage. His hair was actually neatly dyed black. Of course, there was no wound on his forehead.
How could the vice president be doing such lowly janitorial work?
John was speechless, his mouth agape. You said something like that earlier, didn't you? Our clerks told you to. Creating a clean environment so our customers can enjoy their experience. That's what janitorial work is about. I believe there is no lowly or top job when it comes to our duties.
Moreover, the higher the position, the less one understands about the field. That's why I had the vice president oversee the inside operations.
Field work should be left to those below. I am an elite, meant to lead. If I had known he was the vice president, I wouldn't have.
John muttered in disbelief.
I can't agree with that mindset. It's because the staff works hard that it's our job at the top to ensure they have a good working environment. And do you really change your behavior based on someone's position?
Being an elite isn't for you to decide. It's those who have worked their way up who should be called elites. I trust my other executives, and I trust the young clerks who work on the ground. Maybe you're not suited for a job that involves dealing with people. It seems our brotherly philosophies were the complete opposite of John's. John collapsed on the spot.
That's enough for the interview. Thank you for your time, John.
At the president's command, the executives participating in the interview stood up.
Wait, please. I was an elite when I joined the North Star Bank as a fresh graduate.
No one turned back as John tried to say something. In the end, John failed the final interview at West City Bank. The rumor the young clerks told me about turned out to be about John. It came up at a personal dinner among executives, so there was no mistake. Yelling at colleagues for things not going as planned or for mistakes made. He ranked customers based on their transaction amounts and changed his attitude accordingly. The overt behavior led to internal whistleblowing and complaints, resulting in his termination. The young clerks think John failed because of his outrageous behavior of throwing a can at me, just because I was a janitor. This morning, after finishing the first cleaning, I was chatting with the young clerks in the break room.
Serves him right. That's what he gets for looking down on you.
Absolutely. We can work energetically because you're here. It's chilling to think that someone like him could have joined us.
Now, even though he was the kind of person to throw a can at someone, it's not right to take pleasure in his misfortune. The young clerks looked down, disheartened by my words. Thank you for caring about me. You are people who work for the happiness of our customers. and I want you to wish happiness for others too. I said this with a smile, and the young clerk stood up vigorously.
For the happiness of our customers. We won't lose to you in that regard.
Me too. Thank you for reminding me of what's important.
The young clerks, bright-eyed, returned to their desks. They don't know I am the vice president. Living a double life as a janitor and vice president is tough, but I intend to keep it up. Rumors say that after failing to secure another job in the finance industry, John ended up working as a part-timer, labeled the worst for throwing a can at a janitor. He was ostracized from the industry. There have been sightings of him working with a vacant expression at a convenience store not far from West City Bank. Even a convenience store clerk plays a crucial role in supporting the busy lives of people. Yet, he might still hold the belief that it's just a lowly convenience store job. I sincerely hope he realizes his mistake and begins to take pride in his work. 3 days have passed since John's incident. Today, I am again cleaning the president's office.
It's been a while since I last pretended to be Michael. It's really fun because everyone gets so flustered. Maybe next time, I'll clean like Michael.
Kyle shows tough love to his subordinates, but is quite the prankster. After causing mischief as kids, he would get chased by our parents and switch places with me when caught. Even at this age, his love for pranks hasn't changed, which is troublesome. That won't do. Janitorial work is my job, and I won't give it up to you. If people knew my true identity, no one would come to talk to me. I firmly made my point, and he sulked.
Darn, I really wanted to do it. You're always so stern, Michael. But honestly, I am a bit jealous. When you were hit with that can, the young clerks defended you, even standing up to John, who presumed he'd be their boss.
I couldn't help but laugh at the memory. Yes, I was truly happy at that moment. Even as a janitor, everyone said I was one of them. Hearing that, Kyle pouted even more.
It's tough being in a high position. The higher you go, the less you get to talk with the juniors. Michael, you really got the better role.
Even if it's for you, Kyle, I won't give up this role. It's my job. After making my point again, I left the president's office. Before lunch break, I decided to clean the sales counter floor one more time. I remember a new clerk who seemed down. I wonder if he's okay. As I was setting up my lunch in the break room during lunch break, he approached me. It was the new clerk I had been worried about.
Michael, could I talk to you? My colleagues told me it helps to talk to you. I'm really struggling.
Good. He came to talk. If I can help, I'm all ears. You've done well to hang on this long. Take your time and tell me what's on your mind. Now, it's my turn to show what I can do. I listened to his concerns, aiming to create a better workplace